I'm going to start the show. This week's show is all about boundaries, how to have healthy boundaries. Boundaries are super important because they're what helps us keep our own sense of self-worth. They're what help us keep our sanity. They're a way to make you feel like you're important in this world, that you matter. And there's healthy ways and unhealthy ways of keeping boundaries. So I have notes here. These are my notes. I have notes here that I'm going to refer to because I know I will forget something if I don't. And I wrote a little hello on my notebook for you guys, so you didn't have to feel bad when I was looking in it. So I'm going to try to put this somewhere where I can see it and still look at you guys. So there are 6 types of boundaries that we all have to keep in check. So the first boundary is material boundary. So that's my stuff. Don't take my stuff. Don't use my stuff. If you use my stuff, put my stuff back. That's material boundaries. The second one is physical boundaries. Don't touch me there. That is my no spot. Do not touch me there. Step back. You are getting too close. You are invading my bubble. That is physical boundaries. The next one is mental boundaries. I don't want to hear about this. This is a disturbing thing. I don't like hearing these things. You're disturbing me. You're upsetting me. I don't want to hear this. I don't like those slasher movies. Please don't talk about that in my presence. Don't listen to that vulgar music in my presence. You're mentally crossing a boundary. The next one is emotional boundaries. So that's when somebody is just not respecting you on an emotional level, not being there for you emotionally, not understanding that you have emotional needs, knowing that you're stressed or upset and not caring. Like, I know you're stressed out, but I really need a hamburger right now. So can you just move on with your stress in your life? Because making yourself more important than the other person's needs. Sexual boundaries, a little bit with the physical boundaries, it's kind of tied in. Not respecting somebody's sexual boundaries, trying to push yourself on them. We all know what sexual boundaries are. Hopefully we do. And spiritual boundaries. So spiritual boundaries is like when you're trying to push your own agenda or push your own beliefs on somebody else, whether you're pushing religious beliefs, non-religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs. When you're trying to invade somebody else's spiritual space with your own beliefs or trying to insult their beliefs, is a way of crossing a spiritual boundary. So there are different types of boundaries that can be crossed at any time and place. So with all these different types of boundaries that can be possibly crossed, it is so easy to get upset. And when you're constantly in a state where your boundaries are not being appreciated, that makes things really difficult. Hello, Spider with a top hat. Welcome to everybody who's watching on YouTube. Guys, let me ask you guys a question. Something's different about me. Can you guys guess what it is? So I'll leave you with that for a second. So let's talk about some of the different ways that you can make sure that your boundaries are being met. The first one is be honest with yourself. It's really important to do a self-check-in to know what's bothering you and what isn't bothering you. And if you don't take that time to really sit with yourself and say, I really am bothered by the fact that this is happening. I'm really bothered by the fact that so-and-so is doing this over and over again. Being honest with yourself and acknowledging that is the first step. It is really important to understand that you have the right to feel the way that you feel about a situation. And you have the right to protect your own personal space and boundaries. And so just acknowledging that something is bothering you is the first step to getting change and making things better. And the second step is to allow yourself permission. Understanding that, hey, I'm upset that so-and-so keeps eating the last cookie. Like, I buy this box of cookies I'm willing to share, but I want that last cookie. And I'm really upset that so-and-so keeps eating the last cookie. And acknowledging that you're upset about that. And then giving yourself permission to be upset about that. Like, you know what? I bought those cookies. I'm willing to share. I'm a good person, but I just want the last cookie. And I believe that I have the right to that last cookie because that is how I feel. And I'm allowed to have that. And giving yourself permission to have those feelings is really important, because a lot of times we'll be upset about something, but we won't give ourselves permission to be upset. We'll second guess ourselves, like, oh, I'm just overreacting, or oh, do I have the right to do this? And maybe I'm wrong. And when you have boundary issues, one of your biggest problems is not allowing yourself the permission to feel the way you feel about something. So, yes, I am allowing myself to be upset that she keeps eating the last cookie. The next thing is get support. And what I mean by that is, if you're feeling like you're struggling with this, if you're having worries about this, talk to somebody, talk to a friend. If you don't have a friend, talk to a therapist or talk to somebody who is an advisory role that can help you out. Sometimes you need support in kind of getting the how can I say this? Sometimes you need support with getting the strength to give yourself permission to honor your own feelings. So I'm just running through my notes, so pardon me. Another thing is naming your limits. So when I said that I'm upset that she's eating the last cookie, like, I don't mind if she's eating the other cookies. I don't mind sharing my cookies. I just want the last cookie. Naming that limit, understanding it, naming it, being okay with naming it. So it's important when you have a boundary with somebody, you are direct with them and you name the boundary. Like, I do not like it when you clip your toenails. This is so gross. Clip your toenails at the table. That is a no-no. That is a boundary. You're crossing a boundary. So naming the boundary, be specific. Sometimes it's very difficult to understand what somebody else wants or what somebody else needs. And a lot of times we like to say, like, oh, you're being disrespectful, or you're not being supportive, or you're stressing me out. But unless you're really telling the other person what it is exactly that's causing the problem, it can be very difficult for the other person to understand which thing that they might be doing that's bothering you or stressing you out, or why it's stressing you out, or what level it's stressing you out. Or there may be certain things that bother you, but not other things about the certain subject. So it's important to understand how you feel and then be direct when you communicate with that person and give them parameters. Think about this. This is boundaries. You need to set up parameters. Don't cross this line. I'm so sorry. So another thing that I would say is, when you are getting into setting boundaries and you don't have a lot of experience with setting boundaries, it can be really difficult to start all of a sudden putting up barriers and setting boundaries. That can seem really, really unfamiliar and scary. Any kind of big change is scary. So start small. Don't make this a big deal thing. Don't start out of the gate with some kind of big issue or big problem. Start small. Give yourself time, build yourself up. So maybe somebody at the gym is bothering you because they're always using your locker. That might be a good place to start. Or maybe you're upset because at work somebody's using your mug without asking permission, or maybe they're moving your stuff around. This is a good place to start. Start small. Start with something that is very neutral and is not going to be a big hot button issue. So, and what I want to say about when you do confront somebody, especially when you're not used to this and you're starting small, there's a couple of things to consider. The first thing is, be direct. Like I said, tell them exactly what's bothering you. Gladys, I don't like it when you use my coffee mug and then you don't wash it out and put it back where it was. That bothers me, and I really would like to ask you to not use my coffee mug anymore. So be direct, be assertive. If she's, and because sometimes when you're giving somebody a boundary and they're not used to you putting boundaries down, they're going to automatically either not take you seriously or try to push over your boundaries. So you may have to be assertive. Now, you have to watch your tone. So when you're communicating, you don't want to get to the point where you're so stressed out and so overwhelmed that you're screaming or you're just blowing up. And that's often what happens when you are somebody who constantly gets your boundaries crossed over and over again. You eventually reach this point of mental breakdown where you just flip out, and then it just creates a bigger problem. So when you are, going to somebody, watch your tone, be calm, be relaxed. You can be assertive. I always like to say calm, assertive. That's one of the phrases that I say a lot is calm assertive. So you're calm, you're having a conversation. Hey, Gladys, can I talk to you for a minute? I've noticed that a couple of times you've borrowed my coffee mug and you use it and don't wash it out. And then when I go to make myself a cup of coffee, it's in the sink. And I would like to ask you, please don't do that. My coffee mug is important to me, and I would like you to not use that. You can use some other mugs or bring in your own mug, but please don't use my coffee mug. It's really important to me. She might say something to you like, oh, what's the big deal? There's other coffee mugs. Just use another coffee mug. And I would say, I understand that you feel that way, but this is my mug. I brought it from home and it is my property, and I would ask you not to use it. And you just have to be assertive and not back down, and be calm throughout the process, but not back down. Now, for some of you who are not used to being assertive, this may sound terrifying to you. So if this scenario sounds terrifying and you don't feel like you're going to have the strength to kind of keep pushing forward, then start with something even smaller. Start with a small thing and build your way up. And again, rely on people for support. Rely on friends to give you that encouragement. Rely on a therapist if you don't have anybody that you can talk to. Rely on a therapist or a family member, somebody that can kind of be in your corner and give you that strength and say, yeah, you have every right to do this, and you're not wrong for wanting to do this. I'm just going to refer to my notes, and then I'm going to go to you guys to see if you guys have any comments. So if you have any comments, this would be the time to write them. Okay, so boundaries is a really important part of self-care. And a lot of times people who don't have good boundaries because they spend all of their time caring about other people and don't get their own needs met. So people get so used to them doing things for them, and they just keep taking advantage. It's like you give an inch, they'll take a mile. That's the way that it is. So it's really important when you start your journey of self-care, boundaries is a really good place to start. If you give yourself a good solid foundation, you're going to be able to grow from that. So when you're trying to build your self-care and you're trying to give yourself a good foundation, you need to think about a couple of things. You need to think about the people who drain you and the people who energize you. And whoever drains you, you need to start to really set limits on those connections. We all have people in our lives that drain us, that make us angry or make us upset or stress us out. And you need to start limiting your time with those people. And you need to set a time. So if you have to talk to somebody that you don't want to talk to, that upsets you, if you can avoid them, just avoid them, because you don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to. But if it's somebody that's a family member, or if it's somebody that's a boss, or somebody that you just have to deal with, try to set limitations and try to adhere to those limitations. It's not going to be easy, but it's the first step to setting good boundaries, setting those limitations. Like, I have to talk to my mom. I don't really like talking to my mom, so I'm just going to give her 10 minutes and start practicing. Like if the person that you're talking to starts bringing up a situation that makes you uncomfortable or makes you stressed out, say if your mom starts talking to you about like belittling you in some way, or saying like, oh, I can't believe you're not doing better financially. I can't believe you didn't get a raise yet. You have to nip that in the bud right away. You can't just continue to let that person drag you down and make you feel worse. So it's important to practice different ways to either, the best thing to do is be direct and say, Mom, I appreciate your concern. I don't really like talking to you about this stuff. In all honesty, it makes me feel worse and it makes me feel uncomfortable. And I know that's not your intention, but it's bothersome. So I would like to ask you to stop, and I'd like to change the subject. And if they don't change the subject, then you say, Mom, I'm really sorry. I did give you a chance, but I really have to go. I'm going to hang up the phone now. I love you. Take care. And that brings into consequences. Now, a lot of times when you set up a boundary, people are going to immediately just go, boundary, whatever. And they're not going to really want to respect that. They're not used to having that boundary. They're not used to you being somebody that they have to respect. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to get a sip of coffee. They're not used to having somebody in their life, or they're not used to you being the person in their life that they have to respect. So when you are setting up that parameter for them, they're not going to like it. People are scared of change, and people don't want to respect people if they are not used to respecting them. So they're going to make you try to back down. They're going to push you. They're going to challenge you. And it's really important in these situations that you stick to your guns and you don't waffle. And you don't want to allow that person to ruffle your feathers. So it's important to be in a situation where no matter how much they try to ruffle you, or no matter how much they try to convince you that, you don't have the right to have this boundary, you just stay calm and say, well, that's your opinion. I respect your opinion, but I have to say I disagree. You don't ever have to get into a fight with anybody. You don't ever have to yell or scream or lose your cool. Just be calm. They have the right to feel the way they want to feel, but you have the right to the boundaries. And it is important to think about consequences. And one of the biggest times to have consequences is when you have kids. A lot of parents, a lot of clients that I have are parents, and their kids take advantage of them. They run all over them. And it's because the parents don't set up boundaries for the children, and they don't set up consequences for when the children misbehave. This can be a little bit more difficult with adults, like the girl with the coffee cup. You can't punish her. She's a coworker. You can only do other things. You can keep the coffee cup in your desk so that she can't get it, or you can just, yeah, I mean, that's really all you can do is keep the coffee cup in your desk unless you guys can come up with another solution. So it's not always easy to give people clear boundaries, but it is a good idea to set up some level of boundaries to help you. Not every situation is going to be completely black and white and an easy way to set up boundaries. But the first boundary is letting somebody know, or consequences. That's what I meant to say, consequence. Not always easy to set up consequences, especially when you're one adult dealing with another adult and it's not somebody that you're in a relationship with, or it's not somebody that you have that personal familiar relationship. When you're dealing with coworkers, that can be one of the hardest times to set up a consequence. But it's important to try to strive for a solution, strive for a way. So with this girl who's always stealing your coffee cup, you can either just keep your coffee cup in your desk so that she doesn't have access to it, or you can call her out, when she has it, and say, hey, coffee cup thief, stop stealing my coffee cup, and just, make it something that's known throughout the office, not in a abusive way, but just being honest with other people about it and letting it be known. It's a hard situation because this is very specific, and it's going to really depend on the specific situation with you and this woman and the dynamics between the two of you. So consequences are not completely always black and white. That is going to be the most difficult aspect of setting up boundaries is the consequences. But if you're effective in being clear about what you want, and not backing down and sticking to your guns and showing by example, you will most likely not have to deal with having to issue consequences. Consequences is really more of an issue that's going to come with relationships or with dealing with children or with that kind of thing. Somebody that's in your life on an intimate level that you are dealing with on an everyday basis. So I'm just going to check the chat and see what you guys said. Sorry there, I felt like I got a little bit rambly. Tonight has been a very weird night. Okay, so your hair is brown. Yes, my hair is brown. Very good. Your hair is a solid color. Yes, it is. Our idiosyncrasies, trivial boundaries are valid. Leaving butter out, cap off toothpaste. I mean, here's what I would say about that. And that's a really good point. The world isn't completely black and white. And if something is a boundary to you, it is a boundary to you. And if it's something that really bothers you that much, then that's something that's important. When you're in a relationship with somebody or when you're having a friendship with somebody, there's always deal breakers and there's always things that you can be willing to kind of negotiate on. So, it depends on how important that cap off that toothpaste is to you. It depends on how important I forget the other thing that you said, the leaving the butter out. If those things are really important to you and they're boundaries that you feel are hurting you, then it's important to talk about it. I don't think it's a good idea to ever say that somebody's idea of a boundary is bad. I think it's up to them to decide for themselves whether something is really important or trivial, or they're willing to like let go of or negotiate. The thing about life is very fluid. And so we're always growing and changing. We're always evolving into something else. And the boundaries that you have today may be so different than the boundaries that you'll have tomorrow. And they can always change and integrate back and forth. So that's something to think about. I'm just going to check Zoom real quick and see. Nobody's on Zoom. I don't know if there's a problem or what the heck happened, but for some reason, Zoom's not working tonight. Well, it's working because here we are, but the link or something isn't working. So we're just going through YouTube tonight. That's okay. So when it comes to, I'm so sorry. Let me just check my notes real quick. I apologize. Usually I don't check my notes this much, but it's just one of those days. Okay, so yeah, don't waffle when you're challenged. Oh, and the other thing you have to do is, in order to start taking care of yourself, and in order to start, kind of setting up good boundaries, you have to be willing to let go of fixing people. And you have to be willing to let go of a lot of the negative emotions that come with wanting to fix people, feeling guilty about having boundaries. Like, feeling guilty. A lot of people feel guilty about wanting to take time for themselves, wanting to do things for themselves, wanting to spend money on themselves. They feel guilty about that. And, that's not a good thing, because we all have to have balance in our life. And of course, it's good to help people and take care of people and be there for other people, but you need to be able to rein it in and give yourself a little love and self-care as well. So these are all really important aspects of the situation. So definitely, think about that. This is a very complex situation, but hopefully some of the tips that I've talked about, can help you guys out. And I think that the most important thing is just acknowledging that you have the right to have boundaries. And a lot of times when we grow up, whether we've been abused or whether we've just had misguided things in our life, we tend to look down on ourselves. We tend to feel guilty. We tend to feel like we're not allowed to have a boundary, or we're not allowed to complain, or we're not allowed to say what we want. And, these people are the most victimized and the ones who are constantly being hurt and taken advantage of. And that's why you really have to take stock in the people that are around you and who drains you and who makes you feel bad, and to try to let go of those people and eliminate those people and not let those people affect you. One of the best comebacks to somebody who's trying to drag you down or insult you is to just say, possibly. If somebody says, oh, you're a loser, you're horrible, you're a terrible person, you stink, possibly. Or, well, that's your opinion. Or, I respect your opinion. It's a way to kind of acknowledge them, but not take in what they say. And you're letting them know that you're not taking in what they say. So no matter how bad the situation is, you don't ever have to let yourself sink to their level or let yourself become enraged. Just always remain calm. Whenever somebody is trying to drain you or drag you down or zap away your energy, they want you to get upset. They want you to freak out. They want you to be angry. They want you to be sad. They want you to cry, whatever it is. So when you show them calm exterior, you're not giving them what they want, and they're going to get upset and they're going to get annoyed and they're going to get frustrated because they're not getting the result they want, and they'll eventually move on their own. But it's important to understand that you have the right to feel the way that you feel. So once you acknowledge that you have some boundaries, then you have to be willing to start small, communicate them, be direct, be assertive if you need to be, but a calm assertive, not crazy, angry person assertive, but calm assertive, and be direct, and don't waffle. If somebody challenges you, stay calm, stand your ground. Like I said, start small. These things are not easy to do, and sometimes it's going to take you time to build yourself up. Of course, get support from people. Sometimes it really helps you to have that friend say, yeah, you have the right to be upset about that, and I would be upset about that too. It's important to have that support and know that somebody's in your corner. And I like to be that person for everybody. all my clients, people who need my help, I like to be that person to really be in your corner and help you understand that you do have the right to have these boundaries. I'm just checking the chat real quick to see if anybody wrote anything. So, who is here tonight? Well, manners are definitely important. And yeah, I mean, boundaries and deal breakers in relationships, talking with, wait, hold on. Talking with hands not allowed near me. Oh, talking with hands. Oh man, we would not get along well. Talk with my hands. Um, Ethic or moral, personal belief, manners are important. Well, manners are definitely important. I think manners really show how much, manners are a way of showing how much you respect and care about the person that you're with or the people around you. It's a way to show appreciation for them by having manners and having a good code of conduct. So that is really important. Yeah, I talk with my hands a lot. I don't know. Naturally, I'm a fidgety person by nature. So, and I'm part Italian, somewhat part Italian. You'll see that up in a video soon. But I talk with my hands, so sorry. I probably not good. If we ever meet, I'll keep my distance. But I wanted to ask you guys, firstly, if you have any questions that you want me to answer. It doesn't have to be about boundaries. It could be about any subject at all. If you have any questions, write them down. But also getting ready to give away some free readings. So anybody who wants to win some free readings. I don't know how many people are watching tonight. Did you guys share the links for me? I really would appreciate it if you do. Because I know some people are having trouble. Oh, 5 people are watching. That's what it says. So hello to the 5 people. We're going to start. Whoops, I'm dropping some stuff as per usual. I'm going to start by playing some games while you guys are bringing your questions. I'm just preparing myself here for the game. Let the games begin. So there we go. That's exactly what I was looking for. So the first game that we're going to play is that we are going to have these lovely tarot cards. So when you're looking at tarot cards, there's 4 different types of tarot cards. There are swords. Can you guys see that okay? Swords. There are cups. There are wands. And there are pentacles. Okay, so we have 4 different types. I showed you what they all look like. The cups, the wands, the pentacles, and the cups, the wands, the pentacles, and the swords. So I am going to pull a tarot card out of this deck, and it is going to be one of those types of cards. So you have a 1 in 4 chance. This is pretty easy, you guys, of guessing what this card is. Now, you don't have to guess exactly what it is, like the number, because they all come in numbers. So it'll be like the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, 9 of swords, 2 of swords. You don't have to guess the number. You just have to guess the what do you call it? Whether it's a sword, a pentacle, a wand, or a cup. So if you guess correctly, you get 10 free minutes. Now, if you do guess the number correctly, you get 20 minutes. So if you guess the number correctly, you get 20 minutes. I have not picked, I picked it. Oh, this is good. I like this one. This is a really good one. This is perfect. Okay, so if you guess both the suit correctly and the number correctly, you will get 20 minutes. If you just get the suit correctly, you'll get 10 minutes. Okay, so I have the card right now. I'm looking at the card right now. And I want you guys to guess or psychically sense what it is. I'm projecting it to you guys right now. I'm projecting it. Look into your eyes. Okay. Okay. So let me see. I'm going to check and see who guessed and who got it right. I'm really excited to see. Okay, so far Alia is the only one that guessed. Is anybody else going to guess? Because Alia, I'm sorry, honey, you were wrong. So I want you guys to guess. Somebody else guess. Alia, of course, you can guess again if you want to. But usually I have more people guessing on this game. I'm a little surprised that I don't have that many people tonight. That's a little weird. I'm used to having more people. So come on, you guys. Make it happen, Captain. Those of you who are watching, you can share the links so that people know that this is going on. For some reason, people are not showing up tonight, which is weird. Anyway, I'll just talk about my hair for a second while you guys are pulling in guesses. Yeah, I originally wanted to dye my hair black. That was the intention, but I used a henna dye and it was supposed to be black, but it turned my hair brown instead. So that's what happened. So it's brown for now, but eventually it's going to go black because I missed dark hair. I had light hair for a while. It was really fun to have that. I enjoyed it for sure, but I'm longing to go back to my dark hair. Robert, you're Spider, you funny. Swords, cups, wands, and pentacles. Cheater, 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 cheater. All right, you guys. You guys are so funny. Sorry. Somebody is just looking to try to find the show, so I'm just going to give a little help. Normally I don't do that, but there's nobody here today. So, all right, you guys. So I'm not going to give that to anybody because somebody was a cheater. But this is it. It was the Three of Swords. So we're going to do another one. We're going to do another one. Ooh. I like this one. This is a good one. Okay. So again, if you get the suit, oh, there's an Amber Alert. Ooh. This is just a weird show. Okay. So I'm looking at the card. Okay, that's okay. Okay. I want you guys to guess what it is. I'm just going to check the chat and see if anybody's guessing. And then we're going to play a different type of game. Okay, Ali is saying 8 of Cups again. And you were wanting to say cup, but you're saying sword. Well, I'll tell you what. It is the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups. So I will give it to both of you. You both get 10 minutes because Spider, I'll definitely give it to you because you wanted to say cups and you said swords. I think that you originally had it. And Alia, you did say cups, so you won fair and square. So let's play a more fun game. These are some of my favorite candies. They're Scandinavian Swimmers. They're vegan gummy candies. Woo! They were a birthday present from one of my good friends, Alia. And actually, Spider, I also got a vegan pie from him. I got very veganly spoiled this birthday. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys that there are 4 different types of these Scandinavian swimmers. So there is a red lobster. A red lobster. There's a red lobster. There is a yellow seahorse. There is a green whale or blue whale. I'll say blue. There's a blue whale and there's an orange fish. So an orange fish, a blue whale, a yellow seahorse, and a red lobster. Okay, so these are the candies. So I'm going to pull one out. This bag has windows all over it, so I'll try to cover this with my hand. Okay. I have one in my hand. It is in my hand right now. Right now. So I want you guys, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at it. And I want you guys to guess what it is. Is it a blue whale, an orange fish, a red lobster, or a yellow seahorse? Okay, Robert doesn't want me to dye my hair black. Sorry. Okay, Alia says whale. You guys are just all over the place. Is anybody else on here? Okay, Alia says whale. Spider, you have a chance to go for it. You can keep guessing, Alia. I didn't give that away. It's obviously not a whale. Who wants to win those juicy, juicy minutes? Who wants to win them? Gotta watch the time because I have an appointment at 10. So, who wants to win those juicy, juicy minutes? Particle 8. I don't know what that is. Oh, Pentacle 8. You're funny. A lobster. Okay, Alia, you are correct. It was a lobster or a wand. We're doing gum and candies now, honey. All right. We'll do one more. Let's get something good. Okay. So, red lobster, yellow seahorse, orange fish, or blue whale. What is this in my hand? Ooh, what is it? It's in my hot little hand right now. Okay, Alia, you are right. It was a yellow seahorse. Okay. All right, guys. So I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. In the future, I'll be doing 2 shows. I'll be doing one show through Zoom and one show through YouTube. The YouTube show will be rerun. You'll always be able to see that again. And the Zoom show is going to be a one-hit wonder that once you see it, it's over. So just keep that in mind. I'll be announcing all the information about the shows, when they're going to air, what's going on, what they're going to be about. So just keep a lookout for those. And I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I'm sorry that we did get off to a little bit of a late start. Zoom didn't work out. My camera didn't work out. There was a little bit of problems, but it all came together in the end. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate your support. I hope you guys like this show, and I will see you guys next time. And if you guys have any suggestions for shows that you'd like me to do, just comment below because I love to listen to your suggestions. It's hard thinking about stuff all by myself. So I like the help. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I love you. And I really appreciate you being here tonight. And I hope you guys have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.